I think definitely finding a balance between the whole like work-life thing. I think when you're an activist, that whole thing doesn't exist, like a work-life balance. Like
I'm really excited to just learn a lot of the reasoning behind the kind of work that we do.
I'm hoping to get out of this training basically just learning how we can work with and put pressure on political leaders to pass climate legislation.
We all do need to find the time for ourselves, and we don't, and we end up burned out, bitter, angry activists. Jay is particularly good at finding the hurt and healing that hurt.
This is where everything interesting is happening. This is where your power is. To take the future and bring it into the present is incredibly powerful. So often the leaders of various causes and campaigns could win by collaborating and aggregating resources, but so often we don't work together in a meaningful way. I assess you're bad, and then what happens? What's the next logical step in retributive justice? Punishment. I see you as bad, you're wrong, and so the next step is we're gonna get together a bunch of people to exact justice. Anyone ever seen this in an organizing space? Okay? Is this possibly the most colossal waste of time? These trainings are designed to offer leadership distinctions that have personally changed my life and have been central to every success I've had in the last decade. So the inside strategy is working within the political system. The outside strategy is building power outside to disrupt. But I also believe in an inside-outside strategy where we focus on the outside tactics, the outside strategies, but we also focus on our internal beingness. That means self-care. That means healing my trauma, because I bring that trauma into my organizing spaces with me. These trainings also create a deep experience of connection and solidarity in teams and coalitions.
Being an activist of any kind is really challenging. It requires a lot of self-analyzing and self-discovery, and we did a bunch of that today, which was beautiful.
That Jay has such a great way of combining mind-body work with building political power.
I think I feel a lot more certain going into the next year right now. Leaving this space, we got a lot of chances to talk about what works for us and what will make us better at what we do by making us better at just being.
For me, I think our experiences brings us to the space. For me, it was a real sense of urgency. A lot of times a matter of life and death. Like, you can't really escape living next to a refinery or next to pollution. It was a matter of survival for my family and my son.
But for us, for as Native people, we don't want allyship, we want accomplice. But it doesn't mean that you need to step up in the front at all the times. You need to step back and wait for an Indigenous person to take the lead.
The problems we face are great, but history has taught us time and time again that with the right vision, strategy, and solidarity, the 99% can triumph. But it's going to take all of us doing our part. Ultimately, if I want this result, this just world, this just transition, I get to expand my box, and that means I'm going to be uncomfortable.
I was really impressed with the way that Jay facilitated and held space for everybody to move through some difficult things and difficult ways of looking at themselves.
So often the leaders of various causes and campaigns could win by collaborating and aggregating our resources. But so often we just don't work together in a meaningful way. Or at best, our efforts are transactional. Every significant movement for justice has infiltrators. What makes us particularly vulnerable is that they can find those fracture points with us and destroy our solidarity. We hope to share this theory of change and strategies to help local coalitions work in solidarity.
And more importantly than anything else, it was beautiful for us to lean into the discomfort together as a collective. We all had our individual angles of wanting to show up and care for the world, but we also showed up for each other in that way by asking questions, being curious, being courageous, and even more than anything else, we get to celebrate each other, which was just a holistic experience of activism. I've really never experienced anything like that before.
I feel less cloudy, a little bit less anxious, definitely empowered.
I really appreciated this workshop and just having a space to be with other people who have a vision for a world that hasn't been created yet, but a world that we're trying to make together.
But what I want you to do is I want you to operate from here, and I want you to, when that picture comes, don't listen to the voice that says it's never gonna happen. Hold that picture in your mind, and then the next stage is to hold that vision for others in a way that they can hear. The problems we face are great, but history has taught us time and time again that with the right vision, strategy, and solidarity, the 99% can triumph. But it's gonna take all of us doing our part.